Isn't there just something about the sound of paper that's been that you get wet and then you let dry and it crinkles? Hi guys, this is Cindy over at paper.old.new. I'm starting a new series, and I'm going to call it Show and Tell. I don't know what's going to be in it. We're starting with tea-dyed paper. I did coffee-dyed paper a while back, and I finally got around to making some tea and tea-dyeing it. And I've done a couple different things, so I just wanted to share with you my discoveries and just what some of the stuff looks like. This is just some plain tea-dyed copy paper. And you can see I got some patterns on here. This has to do with the... these got baked in my oven. And this has to do with the... thing that it was sitting on. So, and then there's stripes. I like it when you get the natural stripes in something, just because it looks like a journal. It looks like journaling paper. So yeah, that's just some plain tea-dyed copy paper. And then I did a bunch of scrapbook paper, and I wanted to show you. So like all of this scrapbook paper that I tea-dyed, which I'll flip through with you real quick. I had 2 copies of. So like I had a copy and I put it in the tea diet pile, and I had a copy and I put it in the don't tea diet pile, so that I would have it, you know, to use if I wanted to. And for a few of the pieces, this particular pad, just to give you an idea, I got you the piece that I didn't tea dye so that you could make the comparison. So if you can see there, this is the page, same page as this before it was tea dyed. Or not tea dyed, I should say. And then this is what it looks like after. And then of course you get whatever you get on the back. These are basic. All I did was tea dye them and bake them. So nothing fancy with this particular scrapbook paper. But it's double-sided, and I just wanted to see if it would make it look kind of like in this one. You can see some of the tea darkened certain areas more than others. Some of this pattern paper, without looking at it up against its original, you can't really tell. I mean, I can tell because I know what it looked like to begin with. And again, some of these flowers you can see, like that flower isn't supposed to be brown there. I don't know if you can see that. That's tea, where the tea collected and dyed some of the flowers, made them look kind of dirty. So, and this particular pattern of paper, my idea for putting it in tea was to kind of dull it down a little bit. It's very bright. I thought it would be fun to tea dye it, and then maybe, I don't know, I might put a layer of gesso on it, or a layer of acrylic paint on it that you can see through, but that will dull it down even further, and then stamp all over it or something. This reminds me of old vintage, like, wallpapers and stuff. Well, not that. That doesn't, I mean, I guess, I don't know. But, yeah, some of this reminds me of old wallpaper. I have wallpaper on the brain right now, guys. I'm upstairs trying to process that 1940s. That one looks tea-dyed. 1940s wallpaper book. I've gotten it separated, and I'm soaking pages. So, that'll be a show and tell video down the road. I'll show you guys what I got out of it. I'm liking some of the stuff I'm finding. But this is reminding me of old wallpaper patterns, is the reason I went off on that tangent. And then this was, I've actually used some of this. Wait, I actually have it right here. See, there it is. That's the original. There on the back of this card, and then this is the tea dyed version. So you can see it's a lot brighter, and the tea dyeing kind of knocks it back a little bit, so that it's not quite so bright. Again, some more wallpaper, and then I have these beach ones, and I had 2 of each of these, so I went ahead and dyed one to look a little more vintagey, and I like the way this turned out a lot, so I'm looking forward to using these in, you know, a beach journal, a vintage ocean journal, something like that. It even has bubbles. And the back, where the starfish, these are kind of raised, so on the back, you can see the starfish now, because the tea got in there and dyed the pattern. Anyway, those are just plain tea dyed. Now, I also tried using vinyl and stencils. I'm going to show you some of the stuff I used. So I went through and I used this, and I've done it a couple different ways. I put it on my table and sandwiched it between 2 pieces of paper and let it dry, mostly on its own, until the paper started kind of curling up and separating from the vinyl. And then I picked it up and baked it the rest of the way without the vinyl in the oven. Okay. And then this is one I used that you'll see. In some cases, I've noticed, and you'll see it on camera, that the images came out really clear, and then in other cases, they're very muddled. So if anybody has any tips for me, I'm sure there's videos I can find. This is also a stencil that I used. I just laid it on there. Now, granted, you get lots of different things, but when you cut it up, you got lots of different things. I used this one. This one worked really well. And then I have all of these. So I have this pattern. This one was one big sheet, and I cut it into pieces. So I've got a square, and I've got these triangles for corners. This came off of this quilted looking one, and I cut a strip off the edge. So I used those. I've got these little butterfly stencils that I separated. This was one big sheet, and I cut it into different things. Like, see, here's just a single flower circle. And here's a row of them kind of trimmed up for the edge of a page. Here's another single. This is the little pattern that's between each of the flowers. So the flowers were connected by this. I thought it looked like a little star. So I cut that out, and I have a few of those separate. A butterfly. This is also a stencil. Now I will say, you see how it's warped and bubbled? I will say that I did make a huge stack of paper. I tea-dyed it, and between pieces, I tried a different method at the end where, because as it gets chillier, I don't have any fans going or anything like that, and it was taking a really long time for this stuff to air dry in my house, guys. So I put it in the oven, and I actually sandwiched vinyl and stencils between paper in the oven at 200 degrees and just let it bake with the stuff in the middle and weighed down with all the other paper. I also used this one whole because I haven't decided how to cut it up. I'm gonna have to put these back under weight because they got all wrinkled up. Some stencils did really well in the oven. These white ones, I get these are from Walmart. These white ones are from Walmart in the craft section. These did really well in the oven. You stick it between 2 pieces of paper, weigh it down, put lots of wet paper on top of it. It bakes at 200 degrees, and I didn't have any problems. This did not warp. Whatever brand this blue stencil was, and I think I got it at Michael's. This, as you can see, paper, I had to tear paper off of it, and it's all warped and weird looking. So, yeah, this is... I don't know if it's no good anymore, but it definitely can't go back in the oven. Whereas the rest of this bakes okay. And this one warped a little bit, but not enough that if I sandwich it between paper, it'll squish down and I can use it again. So having used all of those things to do paper, I can show you what I got. So on this one, on the scrapbook paper, you don't see it as much. I don't know if you can see up here, like the faint edges. These would have been ones that I laid out on the table and let dry on their own. And as they dry, the vinyl starts kind of peeling away. So, and I would sandwich them. So the one on the bottom, I think the one on the bottom would get the better image than the one on the top. And then it's just kind of blank on the back. I pulled these, so that was the original. So you can see the difference in color. If nothing else, I got it colored, but you can see the faint scalloped edge up there where I tried to put something on it. Okay, so I had that one. And then this is this color. And you can kind of see scalloped edging here along the side here. This also had lace on it. And if you look real close, you can see the pattern of the lace in the blue. But this was so dark that it didn't really take as well. I think this was sandwiched with that green one. I think they used the same piece of vinyl. This is the yellow. I don't know if you can see the numbers on there. They're very, very faint. There's a 0, there's a 9, there's a 3 up here. You might be able to see that a little better up there in the white. This is the original yellow. So that's what it looks like tea-dyed. I guess I should lower it so you can actually see it. Nothing really on the back. Again, I think this one was done on the dining room table versus in the oven. I could probably find you the one in the oven. It'll have a tear in it. If I can find it. I don't know. We'll see if it comes up. This one again, I used one of the stencils. I don't know if you can see it. This was that big mandala stencil, I believe. And you can kind of faintly see it up here. Well, I don't know if you can see it on camera. That's the problem. Like I said, some of these, you can, however, see the edge. You see that dark edge? That's where the stencil was sitting and the tea collected along the edge. That's the original and the tea-dyed version of the same piece of paper. Here you can see this mandala a little better. Even on camera, that one shows up a little better. And again, tea-dyed and original. Here you go. This one you can see really nice. See that one? This got baked in the oven. This was that sheet with all the different patterns on it. The border one down here in the dark green, you can't see as well unless you're up close on it, but you can see it. I mean, it's just faint. And then this is the original green. So you can kind of see where this in the pattern sort of matches. And then this was the blue one. You can see some spots where the stencil didn't take. I don't know if, nope. These might have been sandwiched on the table together. Some of the stencils did better than others. This is the original and the tea-dyed version. I like the border there. I also like the fact that it makes a change in the paper. And of course there's always because this and this don't sound the same. So there's always that. Okay, now this one, you can see here, this is lace. This is that vinyl sheet of lace. It's like a placemat or something, and it's real lacy. And I did it between these. It was laying between these two because it's in here too. So it was sandwiched between these two like this and baked. But it made the edges really weird, and you get that real splotchy. It came out real splotchy. But this is that center. I don't know if you can see that shape. That's in the center. So, I'm still working on this using vinyl to make patterns in paper, guys. This one has the numbers on it. I don't know if you can see them on there. This was the one I baked in the oven. This is the one I baked in the oven. See the tear? So this is the one that melted to it, so to speak. This is some of that Mariposa butterfly pack that I have. And you can see here's numbers on this half and mandala on that half. So, yeah, and then I love these edges. This is a really good one. You can really, really, really see it on that one. But you can also see the lines from the oven, from the grate that it was sitting on. So, there's the lines from the grate. I didn't pull the comparison papers for these. I just wanted to show you the pattern. See, that sat with it. And then this side has a corner piece. I don't know if you can you see the faint? And this one had a border piece. And then the back, there's more. There's the corner piece, and then that blue, that same piece that was on the blue paper. So, as the paper, because the papers got layered, so I had some on this side and some on this side, and they kind of got staggered. So it was whatever they were laying on at the time. There's the mandala. See that flicker in my lights? I don't know what that was. There's the mandala. I think it's kind of neat that the great lines are positive inside the mandala and negative outside of it. I don't know if you can see that. But when it comes to the edge, they go negative, which I think is really interesting. And then here's the back. There's that border lace again. So I had some success. This one you can really see the numbers on a lot better. I think actually this one was on the table. Oh, no, that was baked. There's the... But that was my scrapbook, all my scrapbook paper that I did. And then I did some copy paper with lace. So here's some of the ones that didn't turn out as well. So like it's pretty much amorphous on the back. And then you can see a shape here. That's where it was sitting on top of something. And same with this one. You can kind of see a shape in the corner and along this edge. But there's nothing really lacy there. And then here you can see, these were the butterflies. I don't know if you're going to be able to see those on camera or not. But these were the butterflies and the stars, and I just stuck them up the page. When you look at this piece of paper in person, you can see the butterflies. But on camera, they're not showing up. I don't know if that'll help when I edit and adjust the contrast. I don't know if I can make those come out any better. But we'll see. And then the back of it, this was laid on top of, this is that quilting square strip. And that sunflower looking sheet, the yellow one. Again, this was a corner laid on top of one of these. So see how this has two corners? This was laying on top of it. Laying on top of it. Because it has two corners also. They just aren't filled in. They're just outlines. These are the ones that would have been on the bottom of some of the ones that I showed you that didn't turn out real well. Those first two that I showed you that were just a corner and a stripe and then kind of an amorphous square. This is what they were sitting on. Here's that big lace sheet again. You can kind of see the lace filled in here in the middle, and there's kind of a blank area and then lace around the outside and then all the lace here. Again, it's still kind of amorphous. So I don't know. And some of these copy sheets baked in the oven as well. So, which is why they have something on the front and on the back. Because I had lots of stuff stacked up and I just let it bake. And if we're honest, in my oven, 200 degrees is probably only 175. Because I don't think the calibration is right on it. But that one came out pretty good. I mean, you can see everything. All these copy paper pieces, I'm going to try and scan them so I can use them also in backgrounds on, like if I get a chance to sit down and do any digitals or anything, I can use these as backgrounds. That one turned out really good. There it is again. Here's the butterflies. Can you see? You might be able to see them better on this sheet. There's a butterfly and a butterfly, and this is that star shaped piece. And here's one of the flowers by itself. So that's this flower and this star. I just happen to have them sitting there, so I figured I'd... Okay, and then the other thing I did, and this will wrap this show and tell up, is I tea-dyed some index cards. So these, I laid some stencils out, or I laid these down in a flat over the tray, and then I laid the stencils out on top of them. So this would, if I really wanted to sit here and do it, you could put this together in a puzzle. So like you can see the images, it's part. They did really well. They worked really well on here. I'm not really sure what I did with this one that made it work so well, but, and this was that, it looks like it has that border. So this was that one that has multiple designs. I really like the fact that this whole little swirly thing ended up on that one. So this is almost like when we talk about cutting up a collage masterboard, because I laid all these down and stuck the stencil on top and then just whatever I got. So when I separated the cards. So this was kind of that was fun. And I will probably do that again just because, well, I mean, they turned out the best. I don't know. So this is a little insert into the tea dye. I know I said at the beginning of this video, tea dyed paper. What I actually wanted to show you was some things that I tea dyed when I made tea and started tea dyeing. When I got down to the point where I wasn't dyeing any more paper, I did tea dye some fabric, and I wanted to show you that real quick. And just, this was some curtain panels that my mom gave me. They were white. You can see this one has like this fuzzy looking zigzag pattern. And then this has these flowers sewn into it. And as you can see, they are very white. I had tea left over when I was tea dyeing the paper that you saw. And so what I did was I took these plastic jugs that I had with screw lids, and I stuffed, these panels were pairs. So there's another one of this and another one of this. And I stuffed the panels down inside. I actually dyed 3. The one didn't have a pair, but I decided to dye it anyway. So I stuffed them down inside these jugs, and they sat, and I would roll the jug or turn it upside down every so often, just to roll the tea around through the fabric. And I tea dyed this. So this is this fuzzy one with the zigzags. And you can see that it has made a huge difference. Now, these have already been rinsed in my washing machine. I didn't wash them. My mother kept her curtains very clean. I wasn't worried about them being dirty. But I did rinse the excess tea out of them and then ran them through the dryer so that the tea would set. Now they can probably go through the wash and the tea won't wash out. But I didn't want the tea to wash out, and I was worried that if I washed them, it wouldn't work. So anyway, this is how this one turned out. And I really like, it looks like aged fabric. I love the way this looks. Now, the grommets on this one were cheap metal. Can you see that kind of, that looks kind of burnt to me or something like that. But there's a couple of spots where these grommets were sitting on the fabric when it dried or when it was wet inside the jug, or something caused the grommet to leave these black marks on this one. It's not in a lot of places, and there's a whole panel here to work with, so I have plenty of this tea dyed curtain. And I will show you, this was the plain gauze one, and this I thought turned out really nice. I'm leaving the whites down here just so you can see the contrast. I thought this one turned out really nice. And they were in the jug, being rolled around. Oh no, it wasn't that. Those rings were fine. It was these rings. Can you see the top of this curtain? This is the one with the flowers on it. And you can see it's got all this, it almost looks like old mold. It's not, it's just, it's metal, this metal left these marks. And I guess these two were in the same jug, and then the other one was in a jug by itself, or they went in the dryer together. I don't know where it happened. I didn't notice it until after they came out of the dryer. So I don't know where it happened. But anyway, so, and here's the flower pattern, and then the flowers after they've been, let's see if I can find some that are just tea dyed, not metallic. There's the flower with the tea dye compared to the white. So I really like the way the tea dye turned out. Even the spots that are like that odd metallic, I don't mind them. So yeah, we'll see what I use them for, but it was a lot of fun trying to get them. And I used up the leftover tea that I had after I was done dyeing paper. So I did those, and I'm looking forward to doing some more dyeing. But anyway, guys, this is a new series that I'm going to be doing called Show and Tell. I hope to like do things like that and bring them to you and just give you an idea of what I've been working on when I'm away from the camera. I hope you enjoy these. I hope you it gives you some ideas, or you know, stuff like that. Or if you see something that you think I could do better, or some way I can fix a problem I'm having, please feel free to comment. Let me know what you think. And I will see you in the next show and tell, guys. Bye bye.